I am no professional at Irish dancing, but I did take some classes in high school.
She took classes.
All right, here's the deal. You have to keep your arms to your side. You know that. And, well, I think we did fists, I think. Usually people want to dance with their hands, but Irish people don't do that. And then,
I don't know how culturally sensitive that was.
for the dancing.
Okay.
And then you gotta jump onto your next foot, and when you jump, you gotta kick your butt with this foot. Ready? So like this. The Scottish people don't do the kick up high, but when you do, you gotta watch. Yeah, like this. There you go. Yeah. But just make sure you you're kicking your own butt. Look at it. See, he's got it down.
What's that little move in between that's going on there? There's something funky.
She's got more moves.
You're gonna cross over.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
All right, practice at home and send us your videos.
Yes.
Post them to your stuff.
TikTok.
TikTok.
We gotta do that.
Post it. We want to see it. We love you. Hello, everybody. We welcome you back for Jesus Talk number 2. I'm Pastor Jenny.
And Pastor Scott.
And I'm Pastor Laura.
We're excited to have Pastor Laura with us today. She is the new minister for particularly youth and young people in our parish. So we're excited to have her in this conversation. So we're meeting you on a difficult day. The last couple days have kind of increased our concerns and our anxieties about viruses and illnesses in our community. I was just sharing with Scott and Laura, I had my first cry time whenever the CDC came out and said, this probably isn't 2 weeks. This could be much longer. I had to kind of go into my room and let it all out. And so we just know we're in the middle of a lot of emotions as we realize that life probably won't get back to normal for a while. As we say that, we know we're praying for our scientists. We're one vaccine away from a breakthrough that changes everything. But in the meantime, we're preparing to minister with you for quite some time. And we're glad to have this time with you. I was just curious, what are the feelings that you all are feeling? You can probably speak to some of the feelings that our friends at home have.
I've noticed it in my sleep pattern, so I have a regimen that the Lord wakes me up at 2 a.m. I have a little Debbie, glass of milk, read some scripture, and then I would go back.
The Lord wakes you up for that, right?
And yes, every night, without fail. And then I'd go back and I'd tuck in, like with the word of the Lord around me, and I would fall back to sleep pretty peacefully. But the last 4 days, 4 in the morning, my eyes are like hoot owls, and I can't get to sleep. So trying to figure out like what that is, and I think that's an anxiety that I kind of keep everything surface, like everything's okay, everything's all right. But I think that anxiety. So I learned to pull out my directory, and during that time now, I just pray for you people. And so when that disruption's in my life, that's kind of what I do, is kind of lift it in prayer and go to sleep eventually, right? So that's kind of where my disruption is, where I'm noticing that.
Sure.
I feel similar with the anxiety piece. I was just thinking you probably gauged my mental health level on what I've Google searched recently. I think most recently is like what we should buy at the grocery store. Educational programs for my 3-year-old on the iPad that won't like damage her psychological whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing that keeps me grounded is also my kids, because they are very much living in the moment. This is what I need now. And I think that my anxiety comes from living in the future. So it's kind of this back and forth of feeling anxious and then grounding myself, and then feeling anxious and grounding myself. So, and that's probably how the dance that I'll be doing until this gets lifted.
Yep, for a while.
Yeah.
We have a lot of coping strategies and just strategies that we use to get through our daily lives, to live our purpose, to manage our anxiety. And the reality is a lot of those strategies have to change. Many of us use rhythm just to be productive and to manage our lives, and we're not in our rhythm. My rhythm is Sunday morning based. I've for 20 years lived a rhythm where Sunday morning is the reset, and then I know how the week goes. So weird sleeping in. I confess I did sleep in on Sunday morning, and we actually did church at our table at dinner time, which was pretty cool. But I am out of whack. I do not know what day it is. So probably many of your normal routines and coping mechanisms have been taken. So we're figuring out, what do those new rhythms look like, and trying to put some of those pieces in place for each other. So we believe that this time of being disoriented and having our lives disrupted can be an opportunity. We own how painful this is for those who are sick, for those who are worried about people who are sick. We own how very real this is for our small business owners, making decisions about how to take care of their workers. 3/4 of our workers are hourly employees. So we're very aware of how real this is for those who are concerned about having the resources to buy food, to find childcare where it's available. But even in the midst of that suffering that we're going to pray through, we do want to claim this moment for God and the spiritual opportunity that disruption creates, and us having to reevaluate our lives and specifically ask, who is Jesus in our lives? What is the resource that our faith can give us? So we were thinking about where to start with Jesus, and thinking about the invitation that he gave to those who would follow him, and how very disruptive and disorienting that invitation to follow him would be in their lives. So we're going to invite Pastor Scott to kind of share how Jesus has disrupted him
Well, in
along the way.
Matthew 4, Jesus says that there's fishermen just minding their own business, making a living, and just enjoying, each day, just the same as we're in our own rhythms. Every morning you get in the boat, or every night you get in the boat and you wash the nets, and here Jesus comes and this disrupts everything. And I think about James and John's dad sitting in his boat as his sons are walking away, and there goes his Social Security check. They were the ones that were going to provide for him later on, and sometimes that disruption disrupts others in your family. So disruption in my life, I was an electrician for 25 years, and towards the end of that 25 years I became I would say the Lord made me so dissatisfied with what I was doing that I just couldn't operate correctly. I didn't even want to climb into an electrical truck anymore. And so with consequent trips to, we did one to Mississippi, and there was I had an overwhelming sense of God's love just wash over me. Talk about weeping. Okay, guys, I'm going to say I wept. I was in a parking lot of Home Depot, and the power of the Lord.
I've been crying at Home Depot a lot lately.
Yes, right. But the power of the Lord just overcame me, and from that moment on, and through the building process of Mount Carmel, I was alone in the woods at our camp in Pennsylvania, reading C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity, and that came over me again. My poor wife, Donna, I love you, but you didn't know what the Lord was doing to me, and when I came home, I preached that Sunday, and a word wouldn't come out of my mouth. You remember it?
I know.
Yeah, and you were there for some reason, but I was just a lay person then. But and you told me maybe you're not saying the right words, and so I just kind of broke down in the 9:30 service and said, I can't do this anymore. I wanted to be a pastor all my life.
Wow.
And my poor wife had no idea.
She was teaching Sunday school.
So you
talk about being disrupted.
You talk about disruption, but I want to quote Pastor Rex of Jackson Chaplain. He says, "Don't let a good thing keep you from a better thing." And so so it was just about, this is going to be a disruption. It reoriented all of my family's life. I was asked what it's like to be a pastor at later in life. And I said, it's just like your family all holding hands and you all jump off the cliff at the same time. And just trust that the Lord is going to catch you, and the Lord has.
Yeah.
And so since that day, I don't feel I've worked a day in my life. It's just been a passion. So disruption's good. The Lord turning your soul is good.
Mm.
So a lot of us are, evaluating our professional lives. What am I really called to do at work? And what is that? For a few, it might be a call to ministry, but, for many, it's just maybe doing work a bit differently. And investing in doing ministry in those settings, especially with others who are disrupted.
So I was thinking about Zacchaeus and Jesus beckoning him. His sort of lifestyle and his sort of work socially distanced him from other people without maybe his consent necessarily, just the rhythm that he got in. And so Jesus actually calls him to be closer first to Jesus, but then to other people. And the paradigm of what relationships look like for him completely switches. And so I noticed even coming here today, where I didn't wear leggings and took a shower, how excited I was to see these two, because as an extrovert, I struggle with not being around people besides just my family. But this social distancing that we're practicing has made me go closer to social media, and I have realized really in a short time that social media is not human interaction.
Yeah.
And you can you don't have to get up and get ready and be with people when you go on your Instagram, and you can sort of project an image that's very different than what's going on at home. And so I am longing for the meal that Zacchaeus had with Jesus, that we get to have together once this is all over. And I sort of am keeping my eye on that hope as we sit in this, because I miss that part of Jesus, that body of Christ. That's why God came to us in the flesh. We need that connection. And so I look forward to that.
I think we took gathering together for granted.
Yes.
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 And so
Yes.
once it was like we're like fasting from gathering.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
We're getting hungry.
I really
Yeah.
I really think we'll be refocused when we're able to come back together, and I think it's going to be so joy filled, and actually I think the churches will be filled. I think we know that something we took for granted we really are missing indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw something on the internet of this guy in his shower holding the shower pole, pretending he was on the subway in New York, because he missed that part of his commute. Just
Comfort, right?
Right,
Comfort.
right.
That
yeah.
would not be comforting to me. No, thank you.
Well, and people
Get me back to
complain about
church.
the subway. They don't want to be
Yeah.
around people, but
Yeah,
you
but he's
miss that
missing it.
rhythm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So part of what we're living in right now is we don't know the details. I think we manage our anxiety by really seeking to know, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do next week? What am I going to do in a month? And those calendars give us something to look forward to and a sense of how our life is organized. But when we think about the people that Jesus invited into a relationship, they wanted to know. They were saying, where are we going to sleep? What are we going to eat? What should we bring with us? And Jesus would say to them, just come, just follow me. We're going to go in this direction. He gave them a sense of purpose. We're going to bless people. We're going to heal people. We're going to be in relationship with people. But he didn't give them any details. And I think that's kind of the moment of maturing that we're in, that Jesus is with us, but the invitation isn't to know the plan. Isn't to know, just to trust, and to take it one day at a time.
Sweet Jesus.
Sweet Jesus, one day at a time. There's a passage I encourage you all to read, maybe with your families today. It's from Matthew 6, beginning especially in verse 25. And Jesus says, I tell you, do not worry. Do not worry about your life, what you'll eat or drink, or your body, or what you'll wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? And that's not to minimize our needs. The passage goes on to say, your heavenly Father knows what you need. God cares that our families have enough resources to buy food. And if you don't, call us, send us an email. We've got a team of people that want to help. God knows we need to feel safe in our homes during this time. God knows we need resources to keep us spiritually well. But the passage says, says, look at the birds, look at the lilies, and how well God cares for them. And I think that's just so solid. That's in the breastplate of St. Patrick. St. Patrick gives us this prayer that says, look at the steady earth. Look
You can actually hear the birds
you
right
can
now.
hear the birds right now. Just look out the window or get outside and know that God is caring for all these things, and God is caring for you. And then Jesus wraps up that passage by saying, do not worry, in verse 31, what you will eat, what you will drink, what you will wear. For it is the Gentiles that worry about these things, but strive first for the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all will be given to you. And the really good news in this time is we can do God's work. So many things have been taken away from us, but our ability to put down our roots and depend on God, and our ability to care for each other, that we can do and really do well. And Jesus says, so don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will bring worries of its own, and we know that's true. But be in today. And that's what Laura's kids are teaching her. Like, just claiming that moment. Mom's home, claiming that space. So I'm just wanted to kind of give you in closing, the Westminster Catechism says the chief end of the human life is to enjoy God today and to glorify God forever. And I just wanted to invite Scott and Laura to kind of share, how are you enjoying God in these moments? How are you enjoying God? And then how are you glorifying God? What are you doing to bring God glory?
For me, enjoying God is just seeing how our communities are restructuring and actually caring for each other. I see hope. People are, companies are live streaming for free to help take care of children, and so there's just a let's take care of each other. Which before we were pretty much indoor. We go to our homes, we're into our families, and now we're connected deeper as a community and caring. I can't tell you how many emails I got. Like, let me know. When somebody needs something, we're going to be there, and we're going to do it for you. So, and to glorify God is just to be a peaceful presence. That's what, just surrendering all. It's could be a scary time, and disruptive time and unsettling time, but it's just like, okay, those birds, they don't go to work any day at all. They just kind of live and work and play all at one season, all together. So it's kind of.
We have a skylight in our bedroom, and I was looking up this morning, and I think it's a Bradford pear, with the white flowers. It looks like it's snowing. And I just had this thought, like, well, spring doesn't care about coronavirus. Like, spring is coming regardless and doing its thing. And that's being out in nature. I'm with St. Patrick. That brings me grounded and closer to God. And doing that with my family is sort of this nice break that we don't usually get. And the way of giving back to God, I think, is being able to be worshipful with my family at home. Something that we would never consider because we rely on a system, the church, to do that for us, and we do our own thing, we plug in. And so I do think that we have this connection with each other that is letting us connect better with God, and have these conversations at home that we maybe wouldn't have otherwise had the time for or been intentional about. So it's been nice.
I'm enjoying my boys being home, my workforce, and we are glorifying God with a lot of painting, and a lot of readying spaces, and just trying to serve God by ministering creatively. It's kind of fun to do it in a different way. I'm really grateful for those that are doing it with us. So we'll be back on Friday. We're going to talk more about relationships and how this is an opportunity to invest in our relationships and to think about how we're caring for our people. So we'll look forward to seeing you on Friday. We invite you to pray along with us the prayer from the breastplate of St. Patrick, which is available on the website. Take care.
Wash your hands.
Take care. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Irish blessing I have for you. May the road rise to meet you. May the sun shine brightly on your face. May the wind always be at your back. And I forgot the other part. But may the Lord God hold you always in his hand. Till next time, we'll see you later.
May the road rise to greet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall soft upon your field. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.